The markets are absolutely pumping on the back of strong earnings from Microsoft and Alphabet. We will see what Kevin has to say about that. Very interested on his opinion as we get going today. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. Nothing we say is financial advice. We are not financial advisors. We're a couple of guys who love following the markets, nerding out on all this stuff. So please do your own research when it comes to any buying and selling decisions. Kev, we saw very strong earnings from Microsoft. The markets reacted incredibly positively in the after hours yesterday and the pre-market today. Markets are looking okay this morning. I mean, we still have the Dow flat, SPY pretty flat, NASDAQ up about 1 percentage point. And Microsoft is leading everything up, currently up 7% on the day. Crypto absolutely pumped overnight. We see Bitcoin close to 30K again, ETH at about 19.5 or 1.95. So things are hot in the markets right now. What are your thoughts on all of this?
Same as usual. It's all bullshit. But definitely, yeah, it's interesting to see. Again, we didn't really see earnings affecting TradFi markets too much. Seems like this Microsoft affected it, the after hours, some of the futures. So interesting to see that with the TradFi. But again, the fact that it's kind of lackluster right now, other than the Dow that's up about 100 points or so. It's
the NASDAQ's up
NASDAQ
140 right now.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's actually now down on the day by
-0.01%. Yeah. So not too crazy. I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, Microsoft's going to affect the NASDAQ and tech stocks and all that stuff. So is what it is. For crypto, that's one manipulated son of a bitch. That's all I can say about that. I'm looking at the hourly chart. It just looks like someone was max bidding on Binance. See the funding rates, kind of crazy, a little bit of negative. We got a short squeeze. So maybe that's, we were talking about the Binance thing yesterday. Maybe that was a short squeeze that was preparing us for this move here. Nothing really has invalidated my macro view, but just definitely didn't expect this coming. And again, like I said, the market's always going to react when you least expect it. So this time it went up. We were waiting for a little bit of a correction in the markets after, dumping for so much. But again, markets are corrected. They're going to go up and down, but we're going to follow the trends and see where that leads us. So that's all I got looking at that right now.
So Microsoft, quick little recap of their earnings yesterday. Earnings per share 245 versus 223 expected. So nice beat there. Revenue 52.86 billion versus an expected of 51 billion. So solid as well. And one of the big things that's also helping tech today is that they are still very optimistic about growth in AI. Now, it was interesting because with Alphabet, we saw that they beat as well. However, they were a little bit more cautious, saying that they're going to need to increase their capital requirements to keep up with all of the AI. So there's a lot going on. We've talked before about, yes, AI is like incredibly helpful, but is it like kind of a bubble where everyone's doing something AI related? Only a handful are going to be very successful at it, and the rest are going to fall by the wayside. And we're kind of seeing that optimism around AI playing out in tech as well. NVIDIA, big holding of mine, which, is very deep into the world of AI, is having a solid day. And I believe it's just based off the fact that we are seeing that optimism around these AI companies. So something to keep in mind there. Big days like this where it's very green out of nowhere are always nice days to take a little bit of profit. So I think that might be something that I do today. I got some I freed up some crypto from some other areas, and maybe I just move that over into cash now, because when we see these big green candles out of nowhere, it feels nice to move that into cash, knowing that we probably got more red coming. We look ahead, we're 1 week out from the next Fed decision. We've actually seen a shift, I don't know why, toward 27% chance of no rate hike, 73% chance of 25 basis points. I still think there's no way in hell that the Fed pauses unless we see a great inflation number coming out on Friday. I'm not super optimistic about that. And if they do pause, that makes me even more bearish, because I think that all of these higher gas prices, food prices going back up, I think all of these things are going to play into more inflation in the future.
Definitely. It just seems like the markets are so resilient, and I don't understand, even just like the optimism for a lot of retail investors too, like anticipating that there's a chance that there's no rate hike, or anticipating that it's 25 and done. It feels like everything that we have been looking at adds up to the worst bearish case scenario possible. However, sentiment is the complete opposite. there are still tons of hopeful people despite tons of layoffs coming. Obviously, we're going to get some unemployment data pretty soon, so we'll see how these layoffs have affected jobless claims. Obviously, there's tons of stuff that's happening in the markets. The housing bubble, commercial real estate, everything's just adding up to a point where there's got to be a boiling point at some point in the future. I anticipate one still coming, but this market is denying all cases of a bearish scenario and all cases of reality. They're just throwing it out the window and just hoping for the best. And I don't know. The markets are used to humble people, and unfortunately, people might get extremely humbled by what's to come. It just pumps like this don't really get me more bullish in a bear market. Not at all.
Yeah, let's see what the data tells us, and we'll let that inform our decision. We did see a big old green candle on Bitcoin dominance, which I know you wanted to discuss. So let's get into that next.
Yeah, I've been following that all night. Again, I tweeted out this morning.
Kevin did not sleep.
I didn't. I really didn't. You can see it bags under my eyes. This is something that's really interesting to me because we'll pull up Bitcoin real quick just so we can see how the price is doing. I said that there's no way where Bitcoin dominance doesn't take a leg up, considering how much it's been consolidating. And we've been watching, the price of Bitcoin right now. And again, we were charting this 5-wave move to the downside. So wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. This is where wave 4 should have landed. However, it went higher than wave 1. So this entire thing is invalidated. So we can erase this. It doesn't mean that we're not coming down in 5 waves. It just means there might be a different scenario in which we get there. I'll get to it in a little bit, but we can see the massive green candle that we got on Bitcoin this morning. I went to bed at 2 a.m. last night, and that wasn't there. I woke up at 5:30, and it was. So granted, seems like an extremely manipulated move. And again, I say manipulated because if I break this down into the hourly, that is pretty much the same exact move that we've seen always play out, and it always breaks to the downside the same way it goes up. So we got, first leg consolidation period, second leg consolidation period, and just shoots, massive, like stupid up. And it did go to, where was the height of this? This was at 30,000 and 36. So we hit that supply range that we were talking about. I didn't expect it to happen until we hit this 26,000 range, but it went straight for the throat, went into it, got rejected. Looks like it's just kind of not sure where to go, but bad thing is when you go up this fast, you got tons of gaps that need to be filled. So that's 3 fair value gaps that I'm seeing right there that should be filled at some point. Again, this is a matter of time. Structure played out faster than I expected, is what it is. But Bitcoin dominance is what we're talking about. Go over here to the market cap, and we're at a pretty good level right now, 48.40. It went all the way up to, I think it was 48.43 this morning. Let's see. Yeah, actually it was 48.48. That was the highest that we got today. So pretty impressive considering the price of Bitcoin. The weird thing is, though, that alts are actually pushing up just a tiny bit too, which I'm not surprised by considering that the DXY is kind of dumping this morning. It's really interesting to see how, despite Bitcoin dominance going up, you're also seeing, some of these alts rise with it. I don't think that makes much sense unless, something like the dollar is going down. But again, the dollar, I am not giving up on. I think it's just making a daily corrective move to the downside. It's going to be trading. Maybe we get a double test of that bottom. So that's triple bottom. And if we don't lose that support, we still got tons of room on the weekly for the dollar. A good chance that the dollar is going to bounce back. Bitcoin dominance is going to be high. Alts are going to get wrecked on the way down. Because obviously when the dollar pumps, Bitcoin goes down. And if dominance is extremely high with it, everything below it is going to be dragged down with it. But this is an extremely good level. And again, we were talking about how this was a consolidation period up here. And we're getting a little bit of a breakout. And we still got some room for looking at the stochastic RSI. I don't necessarily use this for the Bitcoin dominance, but it does play into effect similar to how other charts are. So we can see that there is still a little bit of room to the upside. I wouldn't be surprised if we keep pushing. Even if we get into the overbought territory or the overvalued, I still think that there is room to push. I think the target here is 51.37, which also on the weekly is right where the 200 EMA is crossing. So I think that this candle is probably gonna either push up significantly very soon to this level, or we're going to consolidate and slowly just make higher highs and higher lows till we get to this point, and then we start to see the breakdown. So Bitcoin dominance is absolutely shooting up, and I sent out a tweet earlier saying that your pump does not come without consequences, and this is the consequence of Bitcoin, the value going up. looks great when the candles are green, right? The price going up, you're making profit off buying the dip at 26K. Good for you. But I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't know, man. This is even more dangerous than I was expecting. Now that people seem bullish, we got a market maker pattern moving to the upside. The dollar is kind of driving this pump up a little bit too. I wouldn't be surprised if, dominance just climbs to that point to 51 and, the market decides, okay, we're going to make the final move to the downside with correction. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying with Bitcoin dominance, but I did want to go back into, I think was it this one or no, it's this one. I tried to clean up my charts a little bit.
Give me a second while you do that. So it's interesting. I'm looking through a lot of like the tech sector right now. And just at first glance, there's a lot that's just kind of flat today. The only stuff that is really going up is AI focused. Like I talked about it a little bit at first, but like, we look at Nvidia is up, up over 3%. Amazon, Google, Microsoft obviously is up 7%. Meta, but everything else in tech is just pretty flat today. And to me, that is just a sign that there's this over exuberance when it comes to anything that has ever talked about their business being involved in AI. So do I think AI is great? Absolutely. Do I think that is getting overpriced into the stock market? Yes, I do. So, could these continue to run up? Sure. But I just think that right now, this move that we're seeing today is based almost solely on the fact of, Microsoft's outlook on AI, and they could definitely be onto something. But at the same time, there's just, man, it just seems like there's an overexcitement right now that is going to be corrected because like the overall markets like don't really seem to care about any of this news today. It is just the tech stocks that have anything AI related.
Yeah, 100%. You and I have been calling this the dirty bubble too, right? For weeks, for months, tech keeps going up on the basis of AI is going to be extremely profitable. Maybe it is. I think it will be. However, not at the ass end of a bear market. You know what I mean? Like this is probably the worst place where you're going to get really excited, get retail excited about the prospects of a new emerging market, or an industry that is really important for, I guess, tech. But again, I think that the play right now is pretty fucked up when I look at AI because again, this is I don't see the markets lasting very long on the prospects of AI during a bear market when everything is collapsing. Is AI going to be profitable? No. But again, I think that in the aftermath, yeah, it's definitely going to be profitable. I think it's going to hurt a lot of people. It's going to put a lot of people out of jobs. It's kind of the scary thing with AI right now. But I don't see the market, reacting in a way that's bullish. But I do see, like you said, all these stocks that are AI driven are extremely bullish. That's just like, I don't know. I don't know if it's market makers or retail just like grasping at straws at this point. But I definitely think that the breakdown is imminent and it's going to be extremely, extremely bloody.
All right, let's get into this this Bitcoin chart here to wrap it up for the day.
Absolutely. So we were talking about a different chart, a different pattern. Obviously, I said that wave 4 went higher than the wave 1. So this would have been wave 1, and then it was a different chart. It was a different pattern. So it was like 1 counts, 2 counts, 3. The 4 would have been like right around here, and then 5 comes down to this level. That was what I was charting. However, we got invalidated when this green candle went up higher than the bottom of that wave 1. So I recharted this, and this actually could play out as well, very similar to how it is over here. But the bad thing is this would cause for a deeper correction, this impulsively to the downside. I do consider this impulsive. If we look on the weekly, that bearish engulfing candle that we got right here, that tells me that we're in a move to the downside. We got a green candle right now, but we're extremely overbought on the weekly. Again, the volumes are extremely low. I think this is 100% manipulated and the mix of the DXY. So I think that we shot up here, but I think it'll just be a wick by the close of the week, and it'll probably close below this supply zone area once liquidity is drained from this, pump to the upside. But when I look at this on the daily, wave 1, wave 2, now we're expecting a wave 3 if this is to be finalized. We were expecting us to retap the supply zone. We did. I expect us to come down in a wave 3, but the question is, how deep is that going to be? And if we found this as support and we're expecting wave 3 to be lower than wave 1, it's going to have to come down to the next level of support, which I anticipate being this top of this red line, like around 24,280. And then obviously we're going to find some relief rally, a bounce. We'll probably be trapped in between these two ranges where this served as support for now, but then it'll become resistance. And this is our support. So we'll be trapped in support, resistance until we finally break down to the downside for our wave 5. And that wave 5 for me is right here around 22,000, which was the bottom of this demand zone that's we were anticipating. So the fact that this shot up higher than that wave 1 that we're charting is a little bit more bearish, a more bearish scenario than I was initially expecting. What could bring us down to that level? I absolutely have no idea. I think it's just in the charts that sentiment is probably going to freak out. And again, Bitcoin dominance being so high, it doesn't take a lot for the market to absolutely bleed at this point. So this is kind of a bearish scenario. This is even more bearish than I was anticipating. Will we have a relief rally? Absolutely. I anticipate 3 waves to the upside. But again, this would be pretty limited. And I think that if we are in a pulsive 5-wave structure to the downside, as we started up here, that means we get a 5-3-5 pattern, 5 waves down, 3 waves up, 5 waves down to finish. And could this potentially bring us into lower lows? Absolutely.
Jesus, Kevin.
I know. This one's a little bit more exaggerated, but again, this one is 100% from what I'm seeing. Seems to be, and not for the time being. If we get a rejection at this level right now, we start to make a move to the downside. This is the play. But I expect a correction, and this one is just total capitulation. I think this would end up bringing us into the bear market bottom. Capitulation would happen probably from this wave 2 down to this wave 3. That's just my opinion. And this could go lower or higher, but I do think that we are going to cross this 14K level. And I think that we might even wick down to this 11.5 to 12.5K range. So this is the macro play that I'm seeing right now. Again, tons of manipulation. We're seeing the price push up, and we're in this area where there's just no volume. Like this is shit volume. We don't like that. That means that the price can push up or down pretty fast, and we saw it this 2-3 hours ago, and I anticipate that we're going to be seeing it very shortly move in the opposite direction. So that's what I'm seeing with Bitcoin. Obviously, I haven't closed any of my short positions because I actually have balls of steel and conviction that Bitcoin dominance is going to fucking kill us all. But it's really interesting to see this. And am I excited by a more bearish scenario? Kind of. But at the same time, it's going to go where it's going to go. It's just a different bus that we're taking to get there. So that's all I'm saying with Bitcoin. It's going to be really interesting to see how this develops over the next few nights and daily closes.
Okay. That is going to wrap it up for today's show. More earnings coming out today. Facebook, Boeing, Hilton Hotels. We have more economic data tomorrow morning. The interesting one is going to be GDP. We have some jobs and home data as well, but GDP is the big one tomorrow. And then Friday we got the next round of PCE data. So more inflation data. That is going to be kind of the final. We should have a pretty clear picture of what the Fed is going to do on Wednesday based off of GDP and PCE on Thursday and Friday. So that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button if you haven't. Subscribe to our channel. We usually do live streams, but I'm on the move this week, so we are doing recorded and we're going to upload them. So appreciate everybody for watching. Drop a comment as well if you enjoy our content, and if you don't, please don't drop a comment. I don't know if my ego can take that. So we'll be back tomorrow. Kev, have a great day, everybody. We will see you later.
Take care, everyone.